Hey, what's happening, everybody? Let me know you can hear me okay. I'm still in Orlando working out of a Hilton, and it's been miserable. So, oh, awesome. That's cool. All right. Yay. You got when you're in when a hotel, you got to go through their page, and it just took forever to get in. Leanne called me. She's like, hey, are you going to get in? I'm like, I'm trying to get in. And then I got in, and she was like, I was like, are you getting in? She's like, I'm trying to get in. So it got crazy. All right, let's see who all we got here real quick. Andrea, hey, Bob, welcome, man. Brian Miller, David, good to see you, Dave. George, Gordon, hey, buddy. James Kurt, getting proactive in the group. I love it. Mr. Samples, Jeff Bell, Mark's got some interesting things that we will share with you. He's told a lot of y'all about it, but he's impressive marketing-wise. Mona, my sweet Mona. Ronald Eason. Man, are you still down in Orlando, or did you already make it home? I got to see Ronald over the weekend. That was nice. Scott, Sidra, my sweet Sidra. Spiros, hey, buddy. Tammy TV. Kyler Horn. Todd Friedman. Troy. I know originally this call was going to be with Lo Silva, and he was going to show you all some LinkedIn stuff, and he was down here, and I don't know, something came up, and he gave me last minute notice that he wanted to move the time or whatever, and I wasn't going to have everybody scheduled up on a webinar and not deliver something. So we'll reschedule with Los, and he can show you what he does on LinkedIn. But I wanted to give y'all some direction that I really feel that everybody here either needs to be reminded and or it might be new to you, so you might want to, find out. So we're going to talk about closes like Tammy was just talking about. We're going to talk a little bit about setting up to get to the close, and we're just going to talk a little bit about like mindset as far as like the way you want to direct somebody in order to do that close, right? Now, I can give you word tracks, and I can sit here and tell you how to say certain things and load your lips is what we called it. But you got to really say it in your own words, and you got to kind of understand what direction you're going into the basic steps of a sale in order to really get it to where it sounds natural for you, okay? So I'm gonna say some things. I'll even role play with some people, but I want to give you the psychology of where you're taking somebody, so you can change it a little bit to the way that you would say it. And if you say it word for word, what I say, it sounds natural and it feels natural when you say it, that's okay. But I want to talk a good bit about sales, not only the importance of sales in your business, but a little bit about how to sell and how to close. Okay, so just by a show of hands, if everybody can tell me real quick, who are you going after? Obviously, I'm going after automotive. I know most everybody on this call is probably going after automotive. You might have some other clients are not automotive, but do you know exactly who you're going after? When I say who, do you have a list? Have you targeted out your 40 dealerships that you're going after, or your 50 dealerships, or I think 40 is a good round number. We use that in our coaching. I know a lot of y'all are in my coaching, but you need to have a list, your target list, whether with a CRM or even on an Excel spreadsheet. You need to have your list. So I see top 100 big companies. I see bad reputation dealerships. So for instance, do you have your list of bad reputation dealerships? Do you have your 40 targeted list? Here's why. If we're going to work on closing sales and building business and really pushing some, to start driving you some revenue into your business, you got to be able to measure your efforts. And you have to also know, all right, if I change this, for instance, if we go after these 40 a certain way, and then you pick another 40 after this, after you exhausted these 40, and let's say you close 10% or 11% or 12%, so you close four deals. On the next time, if you change up your pitch a little bit and you close 5 or 6 deals, or if you close 2 or 3 deals, then you know you changed wrong. You have to almost systematically make a system on this, okay? So the first thing that everybody needs to do, if you've not already done so, like bad reputation new dealerships, that's fine. You need to have a list. You need to have your list of the 40 bad reputation new dealerships that you're going after. Let's see what else other people put. Top 100 companies, you need to have that list of those 100 companies, Tammy. Anybody that needs reputation management, okay, you need to have a list of those 40 people that you're talking about. You need to have your targeted go-to list, okay? Hey, Troy, what's up, buddy? All the way from Utah. Okay, so everybody starts working on their 40-person list. What is your process and how many contacts and touches, okay? So let me ask you this. Ask yourself, what is your process on how you're going to get in touch with these 40 people, right? And in the question box, and I don't think everybody can see your question unless I respond publicly or whatever, tell me honestly, 100%, how many contacts and touches you did last week. And I'm going to give everybody a few seconds to do that. Okay, 5. Okay. Now, okay. All right. Good. 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 All right, so I'm not going to repeat names, but I'm going to repeat some of these numbers. 5, 3, 1 or 2, 6, sadly, is what they said. 0, 5, but in person. Ouch, 2. So if you're responding with ouch, 2, you kind of know that now you're admitting to yourself, right? So we're kind of seeing a little bit of our own internal issues. 0, 1, 0. One person hit 18. 1 just joined Tuesday. 1 person sent out 1 mailer. 1 person hit 40 to 60. One person was had a cold. Let's see what else. You heck right that counts. Somebody said made a sale though. Does that count? Heck yeah, that counts, man. Dang right it does, man. That's not what I'm not trying to embarrass you or make you feel bad right now. I'm just trying to get you to kind of take ownership, which ironically is what we're going to talk about in sales too. Okay, 0, 16, good job. 6, good job. And the dog ate my paperwork. Okay, it's okay, man. There's not right or wrong answers, but without me, throwing rocks at you, we're talking about building a successful business here. Yes or no? Yes. All right. I think that's why we're all on here right now. Obviously, there's those that are on there that have, that have seen more and seen less. You're seeing as many as you can and as much time as you can push towards it. However, do you think the person that saw 1 or 2 last week is going to be the next one posting a check in the Facebook group, or the guy that was seeing 40 to 60? Honestly, who do you think is going to be more apt to actually be posting checks or making a deal? Which person? Obviously, the 40 to 60 guy, right? He's out there digging for it. He wants it. He's hungry. Okay, so let's think about it almost kind of like eating food, right? I know all of us, want to try and stay fit and not eat too much, and obviously I'm a big guy. You can tell I'm not afraid of pizza, but you ever told yourself after you eat a bunch of pizza late night and you feel like crap, you're like, man, I'm full, but I could have eaten anything. Once you're through eating, like you could have eaten anything to fill you up. It could have been rice cakes. You know what I mean? You're filled up. You ate that pizza and now you're kind of feeling guilty for it, right? But at the end of the process, even if you would have eaten rice cakes, you still would have been full. You know what I mean? So let's look at business like in 6 to 12 months. When you get in 6 to 12 months, if you had 5, 6 automotive clients billing out 30 to 35,000 a month, are you really going to remember all those weeks that you had to call 30 to 40 people, that you had to send out 50 emails, that you went into 10 dealerships and got laughed at, or did, you know, the people weren't nice to you, but now you abstracted that the pure gold out of it? Heck no, you're right. You're not going to remember that. Bottom line is, you're going to have $35,000, $40,000 a month coming in. So I almost want you to kind of get the mindset of being bullheaded. Get like, almost get dumb. You know what I mean? Like, don't be so smart. Like, kind of dumb up a little bit. Make it more simple. Make it simple, stupid. We used to call it, you know, KISS was the theory behind it. Keep it simple, stupid. You need to get your list of customers, start focusing towards those list of customers, set a certain amount of expectations for yourself each week, regardless of what it is, and when you know one week, all right, I did a good job. I hit my targeted numbers, right? The next week, if you didn't hit those targeted numbers, you know you let yourself and your business and your family down. Okay? Regardless of what that number is. Now, I'm going to tell you what my theory is on these numbers. You want to know the silver bullet on making 6-figure, 7-figure business? Everybody's ready for the silver bullet, the thing that you can sit back in the back of your chair and all of a sudden all these pure customers just land in your lap and you're suddenly a millionaire CEO of a company? Right here. This is your number. This is the number that if I was just starting out, now I know some people have full-time jobs, so they might want to cut this in half, but this is the number that every single one of you, without a doubt, could start doing. Now, I'm going to go even further than that. If you will do this, I guarantee you will have a 6-figure business. 50 emails, 10 to 20 walk-ins. I got old calls. Old calls are scary, aren't they? Cold calls, of course, is what that's supposed to say. 25 cold calls every week. So emails I would send out in your state. Walk-ins I would do locally. Cold calls I would go just out past. This is in a week, if anybody's asking. I would target this in a week. Can this be done in a day? I don't know. Maybe you could do the walk-ins. I don't know, you could do all 3 of these in one day, but I used to do 100, 150 calls a day. I've also, on days that I went on the phone, have walked into 10 dealerships a day. I've done that repetitively. And, you know, so all these are obtainable. Get the emails. Don't get too far, you know, don't get too far into searching out too much criteria, but you know, you should be sending at least that, if not half that, you know, toward your thing. All right? So that's to give you your own expectations. Now set your goals or set your targets based on what you know you can obtain. For those of you that didn't hear, or some of you were in Atlanta, everybody in Atlanta knows that I don't have goals. I have obligations. And I don't believe in calling things goals because I kind of think that we were kind of mind tricked as kids that it was okay not to hit your goals. Oh, well, you know, I was going to lose 20 pounds, but heck with it. Or I had a goal to quit smoking, but, you know, that was my New Year's resolution. I've not ever did those before. If you set them as obligations, you'll find yourself starting to get some shit done. Pardon my language. But all right, so these are some of the targets to give you that silver bullet that you're talking about. Now, a lot of people have listened to my follow-up calls, and I know there's a lot of new people on the call, so I want to go ahead and let you know. Everybody knows what 82% of deals are actually closed after 5 to 12 follow-ups. So don't go in and see one dealership or see one client and it fall apart and think, oh, man, I'm just not going to do that. And you hide from them because you don't want to be shot down again. You need to make sure once you get this list of people that you're going after, these numbers that you should be going after each week, you need to make sure that you're that you're following them up also. You want to make them, you're going to make them buy or die. Either they're going to tell you get lost or they're going to buy, right? So 5 to 12 follow-ups. Remember, the majority of deals are closed 5 to 12 follow-ups. Now here's where the fun part comes in. What's the difference between your customer going in, talking to these clients 3 or 4 times, and then you walking in that 5th time and closing at your first contact, right? You feel like, yeah, one call closed the guy. You don't know that he wasn't already getting warmed up by all these people, all this competition or saturated market that people, you know, black themselves out with in their minds, you know, have been calling them. You might be the lucky person, lucky caller number 5 walking in. So don't be afraid to follow up. Make sure you definitely follow up. Now, knowing all this process right now, you know who you're going to go after. You know your process. You've taken ownership of what you did last week, and you know what you need to do this week. You know, I hit these numbers up high because I kind of like the Grant Cardone 10X of thinking. I want you to try and get as close to these numbers as you possibly can. I want you to make sure that you follow up on 5 to 12. Hold on, I'll see some questions real quick. Oh, yeah. All right, we're breaking it down here. All right, cool. All right, so here's the deal. Now let's talk about closing. Now let's talk about sales. Is that what everybody wants to talk about? That's what people like to hear? Nothing that you're going to learn about sales or closing, nothing that you're going to learn about, you know, getting a deal is going to ever take effect unless you take those first steps that I went over very quickly with you in your business, okay? Everybody knows I've always preached value over price equals sell. You know you have to build a value in your product or the price is going to be high. When somebody responds to you, oh man, that's too much, it's because you didn't do a proper evaluation of building the value. And a lot of times the way you didn't hit the value is because you didn't ask enough questions in the interview process in the beginning of the close or the sit down to find out what does he consider value. Let him talk about himself, especially these car guys. I just took a call with a guy in Colorado. He asked me what I call his client, and I did. I had 20 minutes. I was buying a new Toomey briefcase thing, and I was at the outlet mall here. I had a little bit of time, and I realized the call was at 3. For some reason, I was planning it to be at 1 o'clock all day today. And so I had a little bit of time. I called his client. He was a buy here, pay here in Colorado, okay? So I started speaking with the guy. And the guy I said, you know, I asked the questions. Instead of telling that guy how great my product was to build value, I did something a little different. I started asking him questions. So, I mean, what kind of PVR are you running? What are you doing? And the guy literally told me, Syd, they call me gross monster. I'm the gross monster here. Yeah, you're the gross monster? Wow, man, what are you doing? You don't understand. Let me give you an explanation. You know, he's talking in that voice. I'll quit doing it so you can understand me. But he goes, I'm the gross monster because when I go to the auction, if Syd raises his hand, nobody bids on the car because they know I'll raise my hand and run them out of the market, right? So what he was trying to explain to me is that when he buys cars, it might be worth $7,000, you know, a $7,000 car. He bought it for $3,000 because nobody bid him up. And if anybody ever did bid him, he would bid him up to $7,500 and walk away, right? So the reason why his salespeople were making these big, huge grosses was because how great of a buyer he was at the auction. And that's possible. I'm not going to take that away from Syd. I haven't been in the auction with him, and I don't know. But he goes, so when I got back, my guy brought me a deal for $79.95, and he goes, Syd, I made you $4,000, $5,000 on this car. He goes, no, you didn't. You're making me $400 because that, or $900 because that car is worth $7,000 all day long. I can wholesale it right now on the street for that. Just because I bought it for $3,000, you didn't make me, you know, $5,000 or $4,900. You actually only making me $900. Doesn't matter what I bought it for. It's what it's worth. That's a good mindset for a car guy, right? And you can understand that. He would. If he knows it wholeheartedly it's worth $7,000, he needs to just assume his cost is $7,000. So I was like, Syd, man, that's nice. You are the gross monster, man. So you're telling me you're running an average of 5,000 a car? No, I run average of 6. I sell $6,000 a car. I make 6,000 on all my cars. I'm like, wow, man, that's great. Now he has a buy here, pay here, so those PVRs are possible. He might be talking about a couple cases, but he personally said that he runs 6,000 a car. So in the back of my mind, I marked that down, right? I'm thinking, all right, this guy thinks his cars are worth $6,000 a copy. So when I started talking to him a little bit, and I was talking to him about direct mail, we talked a little bit about BK, and I asked him all the questions until almost where we had no more, it got the uncomfortable silence after he's told me all about how great of a buyer he is, how a monster grosser he is, how he and one other salesman can sell 20 cars on, one day, and, blah, blah, blah. So I told him, I said, listen, how committed are you? And I got him to commit on I always ask people how committed they are, because I had this guy right where I wanted him. I said, are you committed? How committed are you? 1 to 10. He goes, I'm a 12. I said, so you're ready to 100% commit to trying to get yourself to 50 cars a month. He wanted to raise his things. He said, yes, I'll do anything. I said, are you ready to listen and make sure that you're going to do it? Yes, as long as I don't lose money. So you're telling me if you can spend $10,000 to $11,000 a month with me, and I get you back 2 cars at your $6,000 a copy, you're ready? He said, yes. See how I learned what his value and price was? Do you think if I would have started out from the get-go and said, hey, if I sell you 2 cars a month, will you pay me $11,000? No. But after he told me that his deals were worth $6,000 a piece, after I asked questions instead of being the sales guy that wouldn't shut up, right, and used my 2 ears instead of my 1 mouth, I used his figures based on what he said to then build value into my product and to show worth to what he's spending. Now, I was only talking to this guy about direct mail, but, I'm like a shark, man. I was born swimming, so I smelt blood in the water. The guy also has a son-in-law that's doing his social, and he's outsourcing the rep management to the guy that I called with, okay? He says he's paying his son-in-law $5,000 a month. And I asked him, I said, are you getting any response on that? And he said, well, I don't know. Anyways, by the end of the call, the guy was ready to fire his son-in-law. Because I asked him, I said, are you trying to sell cars, or are you trying to be a social media company? He says, I'm trying to sell cars. I said, what are you employing social media people like that for? Why wouldn't you outsource that to the experts? He goes, Syd, you're right. I don't know what I'm doing. Now, the purpose of that is for him to take ownership. Okay? You cannot build value in all this without taking ownership. So let's talk about ways to make somebody take ownership. And if anybody's a volunteer, I would like for somebody to come on live and let me do it to you live. If anybody's willing to do that, I would appreciate it. Will anybody volunteer? Okay. Let's see what we got here. TV, you want to jump on? All right, cool. All right, TV. Let me see. You got a mic and everything, Bubba? Let's talk with TV. Here we are. All right, let's see if we can go live real quick. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa.
Hello.
What's happening, man?
Trying to get to work here. Trying to make this work.
You might have to turn your speakers down a little bit just so I don't echo.
Turn the speakers down?
Yeah, just turn your speakers down.
How does that sound?
You have a headset on?
How does that sound?
Now we sound good, buddy.
Okay.
Do you have a headset on?
Or
Are you just talking through your...
Hold on. 1 second. Let me see if this works better. Sorry.
It's all right. We're all human.
Hello. Is this working any better?
You sound good. Am I echoing? Nope, I sound good. Yep, you're good. You put a headset on?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let's role play a little bit, TV. And you were in Atlanta, so you know you've heard some examples, and a lot of us worked it, and we had a lot of fun on that Sunday, man. But let's role play on making somebody take ownership. Okay, so I'm telling you that your reputation is a 4 out of a 30, right? And
Okay.
you be the dealer, because you know what a dealer's going to say. What is he going to say?
Well, I'm still selling a ton, so what's that reputation really? It doesn't seem to be impacting my business and my bottom line.
Well, I agree, but not, as you know, and as I know, 91% of the people that look at your vehicle or walk into your dealership look at your vehicle manufacturer online. Out of those 91%, wouldn't you agree that they are at least seeing this bad reputation?
Yeah, I guess that may be true, but I mean, I'm still selling the units. It doesn't seem to be impacting it.
You're selling units, TV, because you're a gross monster, man. I know. I talk to people every day. I know when I see a car guy. But listen, it's affecting you some deals. But what I'm more curious about, and I know there's some crazy customers out there, but who's responsible for this?
Who's responsible for those crazy reviews?
Yes.
Just some angry clients we get from time to time. Something happens, somebody drops the ball.
I know, but do you have somebody that's in charge of actually like taking care of that so you don't look so bad?
I guess we do. We have somebody on the staff that's supposed to be following up.
Awesome. Who is it?
Somebody on our front desk.
Okay. Who's their boss?
General manager.
Okay. Who's the general manager?
Joe Schmo.
Okay. And who's the general manager's boss?
I am.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we need to start taking action on this, right? And I want to show you exactly what's going to be the difference. Now, I'm not telling you that it's going to actually cost you, you are going to still sell cars. You're doing great. You're selling 90 cars in your internet department right now. But if I can move you a small 3 to 5%, and you're making tenfold to what it's costing you, would it then make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you're making a lot of sense.
Well, and also, I mean, because, obviously this general manager that works for you and the lady that works up at the front desk that works for him, we need to get this taken care of, man, because ultimately it's your responsibility, right?
Yeah. I mean, I could use a couple more sales a month. But it impacts the bottom line.
I got you. So I'm going to show you a 5% return by showing you a better, and I want you to measure it. Here's why. I'm like, if you hired a salesman next week, would you allow them to sit around for 30 or 45 days and not sell any cars?
Oh, no, I'll fire them.
Exactly. Same thing with me. If I don't sell you more cars in the next 30 to 45 days, I'm going to ask you to fire me, okay? I'll quit. You won't even have to fire me. All right?
Okay.
Because you're basically employing me right now to be a car salesman, and I'm going to sell some cars. I know you got 30 days to prove yourself in the car business. I'm ready to hit the ground running. All right? So I want to get to work on this reputation immediately, so we can actually measure and see how many more cars are going to be in it. And I've seen 3 to 5% returns in the past. So at 90 cars, I could possibly bring in an extra 4 to 6 cars. Now, if you could make an additional $8,000 to $12,000 in gross revenue for that mere $699 that I was asking for, would that make sense?
Yeah, the math is there. It makes perfect sense.
Well, once I prove myself with a small little piece like the $699 on this reputation, I'm going to show you how I'm going to get your social and everything else in line too, and I'm going to be the rock star for you.
All right.
But the point that I was trying to make in that whole role play right there, TV, is when you ask somebody, okay, great, who's responsible for that? Well, it's the girl up front. First, most of them are going to say, it's that crazy ass customer, I couldn't make her happy. Well, I understand, but somebody's got to be responsible for it, so who is it? It's that girl up front. And you're right. Then they're going to say, well, her sales manager, her manager, she's crazy too, or whatever. But you're going to keep saying, okay, well, who's their boss? Who's their boss? Who's their boss? Until you make this man or woman say me. Now they're taking ownership. They realize they have a problem. Okay? And until you do that, can you actually build your true value over the price that you're asking for? Yeah. You can sell this guy every way from Sunday. If he doesn't take ownership of his problem, you're talking to a wall. You see what I'm saying, TV?
Yes, I sure do. I've actually run into a couple of those people.
Right?
That's why. That's actually perfect.
It's just one way to do it, and there's probably 100 other ways to do it, but there's just one way to do it. And I think, I think it helps all of us on the call to hear you being brave enough to get on here, and I appreciate that, man. And hopefully hearing me say it, it's going to help help some people too when they're stuck in that position. Now,
Yeah.
if you're not getting in front of clients, it's not gonna matter anyway, right? You can know all this stuff, but if you're not using it and practicing it, then it's not gonna get you. So let's do a couple more closes, TV, since you're being a sport and on the call with me.
All right.
And this tends to work pretty well with car dealers, all right? Because remember, you got the egomaniac. I mean, for Christ's sakes, I'm sitting there asking this guy, and he starts telling me how he's the gross monster, right? He's bragging to me. My nickname around here is the gross monster. You know what I mean? Oh, really? I've never heard anybody called a gross monster before. Come on, dude. But anyways, I let him toot his horn until he built his product up so much. I didn't have to barely perform to show him value, right?
Close. Yeah.
So hey, Syd, listen, man, I know you're considering doing this. And that's cool, but I mean, are you not beating anybody? Are you the first or last in your market? Or are you beating everybody on the street? No, Syd, I'm the gross monster, right? Go ahead, you could be Syd.
I'll be Syd. All right. No, I'm the gross monster. I buy them cheap. I make great margins. Gross.
And when I showed you value and how reputation could help, I mean, you don't seem like you want to be the last guy to do it. Everybody else on the street's going to start doing it.
No, I want to be the badass on the street. I want to be known for my reputation and being the top dog on the block.
So I guess the only thing we got to decide today before I leave is whether you want to be the first or the last guy in your market to do it.
I always want to be the first.
I mean, hopefully they go that smooth, but you see that,
right?
It's called first or last. You play against their ego. You let them know. Do you want to be the only thing else we got to decide is whether you want to be the first or last. That's a cool way to say, dude, are you buying today or not? But it's putting it back on him. So how about the guy that doesn't want to take any responsibility, right? He's not able to, right? So gross monster, tell me you're not able.
I'm not able to. I can't do this right now.
Let me get this straight, TV. I walk into 5-10 stores a week, and I talk to a lot of really, really educated, great car guys in this city. And if anybody I've ever walked into that I have without a doubt has their stuff together and runs the tightest store and runs the store right, is you. So if anybody's able, please be honest with me. You're able. When's the last time you've bought something you couldn't afford?
Last week.
Yeah, well, I promise you they're not going to say that.
Right. I never buy anything I can't afford.
Exactly, and you're not going to do that now this time either. In fact, it's not even going to cost you money. It's going to make you money. Now, do you want to be first or the last one to do it in your city?
I just want to say yes.
Right. And
even though I'm trying to be a knower, a guy that just can't help but say no.
And and I'm just talking, and a lot of you may already know this or not, but understand, like when I said, do you want to be the first or the last one in your city? What else did I say after that? Everybody asked. No, I didn't say let me think it over. What else did I say? What did you hear come out of my mouth after I said that? Anybody? I said, do you want to be the first and the last in your city? What else did you hear come out of me, the salesman, the closer's mouth? Nothing. You know why? First one that speaks loses. And honestly, if you're sitting in front of somebody, it'll get to the first one that blinks loses. You need to look at him dumbfounded, because whatever comes out of his mouth is either going to be, yes, sir, you're right, I'm going to buy, or it's going to be a reason that he can't buy. And both you need to be listening to. Okay? Because a lot of times it's something that you can object by. So when you're closing somebody to get somebody to take ownership, to build value over price, and to also know when to speak and not speak, right? So what about, I want to think it over. What do you want? All right, so somebody's asking, you want to think it over. You want to go, I see I'm not sure what I don't know how to read the name on the GoToWebinar, but do you want to go, Stan, do you want to go live? And you can be the think it over and let me role play with you? Or do you have your mic? Yep, all right, cool. All right, TV. Hey, man, you're awesome, buddy. How's it in Texas? Is it hot down there?
Hell yeah.
It always is, man. I bet it is. It's a little muggy down here too, and the weather in Atlanta was so beautiful, man. I hated to leave it, but there's a lot of people out here, and I got to meet a lot of new faces, and I got to get on stage and share with some people. So that was a good thing. All right, TV man, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time, buddy.
Thank you.
See you, pal. All right, Stan. Now, Stan, I want you to be Stan.
Yes. You got me?
Buddy. How you doing, man?
I'm good. You?
Yeah, good. Where are you located, Stan?
Northwest Chicago.
Oh, I love Chicago, man.
I don't.
You don't? Great food up there. There's are you close to Libertyville?
Actually, I'm way north of, almost to Wisconsin.
Oh,
up
wow.
in
Okay.
Crystal Lake area.
I got you. All right. I just sold a ton of direct mail to a client up there called Libertyville Auto City.
Big dealer.
Yep.
Yeah, huge. But anyway, good talking to you, Sid.
Yeah, man. All right, so let's role play real quick, and you give me. I want you to be as hard as you possibly can on me. Okay.
We'll give it a shot.
I mean, you can anything that you've ever heard come out of somebody's mouth, even when you want to say yes, keep saying no. I don't care. I want you to make me hate you. Okay.
Good. Go for it.
Right.
I mean, that's good. I'm good at that.
All right. Well, perfect. All right. So, Stan.
Yes.
You heard about my reputation product. I told you about it, and I asked you, when do you want to get started, and what do you say?
You know, Sid, I mean, yeah, okay, I understand it all, but you know what? It really doesn't interest me that much. I mean, you know, car dealers are going to get a bad reputation no matter what the hell you do, so I might as well, you know, just let it go. It doesn't seem to be slowing us down on selling cars at all.
You know what? That's because you're a great car salesman, and
Well,
you do have an avenue to sell cars.
Right.
But would you say that it's costing you any car deals? I mean, opposed to somebody with a bad reputation to a new reputation, you think somebody's going to, if you had a choice, would you go to the bad over the new?
Well, yes. If I had a choice, I'd rather have a good reputation than a bad reputation. It's not that mine's bad either. I mean, I'm going to be on my salesman's ass with their follow-up. If I got a bad reputation, I'm going to be all over them.
Yeah, and I agree with you 110%. So if there was a solution, so if you chose to be good over bad, you would choose to be good. I heard you correctly?
Sure.
Okay, well that's what I bring to the table.
Okay.
Do you want to be the first guy in your PMA to do it, or the last guy?
Well, I think we're just going to push it out a little bit and see what happens here. We're getting a little bit of a slow season. Cars aren't selling like they used to, so
Yep.
I think I ought to think it over a little bit.
And I totally understand. What do you want to think about?
I want to think about whether or not I want to spend any more money with you, guy.
What else do you want to think about?
Whatever. Just want to see you know, if it's going to affect us. What else you got? Reputation's one thing, and you know, but what else you got?
Well, I mean, I can tell you about 100 different things, but the one thing that I see that you need to really, really focus on, and I know it's an issue, and honestly, Stan, I've seen dealers in your exact scenario and situation that have had a bad reputation and turn it around, and our relationship's a lot better now, and they love me, and I just wanted to make you one of those guys, man. So,
Well, I love you, Sid. I don't have anything against you. I just wanted to see what we can. What's the bottom line? What's it going to cost me? What am I going to make? What are your numbers? Show me the numbers.
Well, I mean, you know, you told me you sold 100 cars a month.
Yeah.
And right now you're a 13 out of 30 bad reputation on Yelp or whatever.
So that's bad, right?
And you agreed that if you could have a better reputation, it would make a big difference. Let me ask you something. Do you think if you had a good reputation, it would sell you 2 more cars?
Yeah, I think it might. Sure. I mean,
So
it might.
So you think 2 people see that you're a 2.5 star, probably just said, you know what, maybe I shouldn't go into that dealership.
Yeah, that's possible.
All right.
Yeah,
So with 2 cars, you know as well as I do, you're doing a real good job up here. You're running 2,500 a copy, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. So do you put money in a savings account?
No, don't pay anything.
I got you. If you had a savings account that gave you 900% interest, would you?
Yeah, I might do that. Sure, I'd put it in there.
Well, that's what I am.
900%.
I'm the bank that gives you 900% interest. I'm going to show you 900% return on investment on a $599 investment with me.
Oh, you're good.
Meaning, I can show you $10,000 return. Is that fair?
That is fair.
Of course. Okay.
That's good, Sid. That's really good.
Hey, and sometimes when people start hating on you, listen, I don't like you, or I just don't need to do it. Say, go, I'm not here to try to make you love me. You can use the opposite. Like, I'm always the lover guy, but I'll like, I want to make you love me. But you can say, listen, I don't like you. In fact, most of my clients don't. Most of my customers don't. You know why? Because I get it done. And sometimes you don't make friends getting it done.
This is true.
And dude,
I like that 900% return. That's outstanding.
Right?
That is good.
That's the beautiful thing about automotive, because you're dealing with such high-ticket gross items that you're able to show those kind of massive numbers. It's not a florist. Now, if you took the same concept into a florist or an HVAC company or something that was a smaller ticket, now, of course, florist is the worst, but I mean, so you increase her business by 5%. She's selling 200 flowers a month. You increase her by 5%. She's selling 10 additional bouquet of flowers at $20 a bouquet. You're making her $200. How can you really justify spending $200 or $300 with you? You can't. But when you're talking about a $1,700 to $2,500 product, you can really throw that return on investment statistics right back in their face.
That's excellent. Good. That was really good. I like that 900%. That actually would. I'm a hard ass, actually, and that would win me over 900% return.
Now, another thing you can say, Stan, is I understand you want to wait on this, but what are you going to do when the manufacturer starts tying your allocations to it? Like, do you want to worry about it then after they start, like, holding back your cars? It ain't going to matter how many cars you're selling if they start holding back your inventory.
No, I'd rather get ahead of it rather than chasing my tail, that's for sure.
You dang right. That's what any smart businessman would be, and I know you are. So do you want to be the first or the last one to do it in your PMA?
Well, we could be in the middle. Maybe I should go to Joe over there and see what you do for him, and then you can come back to me. How's that?
What about this? Let me ask you one more question. Was there give me one good reason why you wouldn't buy it right now?
Because I'm being hard ass.
Hey, Stan, could you see yourself with a good reputation online?
Sure.
Okay, good. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. That was fun.
Role plays are never exactly right, but you kind of get the idea of what we're talking about here. Man, you were awesome, Stan. I appreciate you being brave and getting on the phone and let me try and close you, man.
All right, bud. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Stan. Yes, sir. All right. Very cool. So, let's see here. I see a lot of people saying some stuff. What if the dealer tells you, well, if you're so confident about your services, why don't you offer your services for a percentage of the additional business you bring on? Okay, you can do that. I did that in super sales, and that's how I walked out with $70,000 checks. But let's talk about it in a little bit more reality way with reputation management, George. Let's say this, so you can even, bogeys, and, Brian's talked about how he landed a bogey. I don't know if he told everybody, obviously I talked to him before he went into the call and after, and even during the middle of his pitch there. The bogey thing works extremely well with car dealers, and the reason why, let's ask ourselves in our businesses, let's ask ourselves even with our kids, okay? All you want is the thing to get done, right? You don't mind paying the price so much, especially if it pays for itself, especially if it pays for itself 900-fold or 900% return on investment. What you want is for it to get done, right? You just want them to score a damn touchdown and not be in your face and coming back, and you might as well have done it yourself. Is that not what you look for in business? Does anybody else have that mindset when they give somebody a task or give somebody a responsibility or give somebody something to get done? Like, does it drive you nuts when they come right back and ask you a question? Hey, do me a favor, move that card from there to there, right? And they come back and go, where's the keys? Dude, go find the keys. I don't know. They're up in the key drawer. Whatever. Move the card from there to there and get it done. That's what people really, really want, especially these dominant director type car dealers, okay? So when you're telling them about what the services you have or what you can do, they want you to get it done. They know what it costs to get it done. So when you show them a bogey to hook them, to bait and switch them, it's letting them in for cheap, so they feel like they're getting a deal. I love discounts. How many times do you buy 2 jars of pickles because it's 2 for 1, right? I don't need 2 jars of pickles every week, but I buy both because it's a deal. Same thing. When you take a product that you're selling for $6,500, you know, maybe a bundle of services, and you tell them, listen, here's what I'm going to do. I have a hard cost, so I'm not going to come in any cheaper than this, but I'm going to jump out on the plank with you. Let's sign up today at $4,000 a month, and until I get you over 3 stars here, you know, 20 stars there, and on page 1 of Google, then you got to pay me the $6,500 we were originally talking about, because it's worth it. And honestly, I would go out of business if I discounted like this. But what I am willing to do is just kind of take my hard cost of the whole deal and work for free till I prove myself. Now, let me ask you, do you want to be the first one to do this or the last one to do this on your road? You know, so. And ask questions in the beginning. Always make sure you interview, okay? And I'm going to do a whole additional call for a lot of you that we'll add in or whatever. It's completely bonus cost, not part of a module. If you're on my list or have ever bought anything from me, you're more than free to have it. But I'm going to do a whole psychological setup, and maybe I should have did it really before we talked about all this, but I want to do a psychological setup of the interview when you're interviewing a customer, because it's all setting them up to have to eat their own words, right? Some people will actually buy to save face from having to contradict what they said prior in a conversation that they didn't know where you were going with. And it's the fact. It's a fact and it's the truth, okay? But the one thing that you need to take away from this, I know all that stuff is fun. The one thing you need to take away from this, and I want to make sure everybody is pushing, who are you going after? You need to have that list, whether it's 40, 60, 80, or 100 people. You need to have that list of people that you are going after. What is your process? How many contacts and touches? Last week, the Silver Bowl, all right, 50 emails. You need to have an email strategy. You need to be walking into the stores, and you need to have a little bit of cold call or follow-up calls, okay? You can be following up with the people that you walked in on, or following up with some of the people you email. You need to try and get in touch with them on multiple touches. Make sure you're always following up 5 to 12 times. Build your value over price, and make sure when you're speaking with that customer that you're going to make them take ownership, okay? All right, so let me ask some questions. I see some people popping up real quick. What if they ask for past references and success and you don't have any for this industry? I'm sure a lot of you fear that, so I'm going to tell you, here I go, put myself out there, and then if I don't do it quick enough, people get upset with me, but I'm going to tell you to PM me, and I will, 1, either have you a reference that will vouch for you, or 2, I will reference for you. So, James, don't let that hold you back. Get into some dealerships. Depending on your area, I have a lot of friends in the car business. So, yes, of course, Todd. Yeah, I have a lot of friends. I've got a couple friends that wouldn't have their jobs if I wouldn't have given them a reference. So for me to ask for them to reference some of us would probably not be a problem. I know it wouldn't be a problem, so just let me know. Just make sure you got a deal, okay? All right, so any other, let me see if I left. All right, any other cool questions, crazy questions, anything that you didn't get, I didn't explain well in my half English written language that I speak sometimes? I have my list, Syd. Hang on. I have my list, Syd. I just don't know what to do when I walk in. Tyler, you would want to consider our coaching that we're doing, because that's exactly what we're going to go over in detail. And that's something I can give you direction with these open calls, but I'm never going to give you, you're never going to get the value that you would out of something that's a little bit more one-on-one. So let's see what else. What is the difference in approach between a used and new car dealers? Good question, David. Do you have Automotive Industry Exposed? Because I actually go over every bit of that in an independent module. And I can go over a couple of just touch the key points real fast. These used or independent stores generally do not have a service department. so you would not want to talk about wrenches or turns or how you're going to increase that. They generally don't. They generally have in-house financing, which is a bonus because they can finance people that couldn't finance the steam off a Whopper. You know, they can get some real low-end clients with bad credit, which is a market that you should tap on because then they're not competing with the big boys. Their entire gross revenue, if they don't have a service department, their entire, you know, gross revenue of the profit of their dealership is actually a front-end profits. Well, remember how you only retain 3%? So a lot of these independents don't pay as well of commissions to their managers or have as many managers or as much commissions to their salespeople because they have to retain more than the 3%. So just something to know and keep in mind. It's a little bit different. So, hey, Jeffrey's in Chicago. What's up, buddy? Stan, Brian, and I both offered coaching last week, and it sold out almost immediately. But we, you know, periodically we might have a couple openings or whatnot. Just if you're interested, send me an email to sydmichael@rocketmail.com. I'll put you in my coaching folder, and when an opening opens or something happens, I'll gladly notify you and let everybody know. So nice. David just picked up my Rep Guardian. Good job, man. Hang on, the maid's knocking at the door. I need a minute. I'm on a webinar. Okay. Comprende. All right. So let's see. All right. So we're pretty much good with all the questions, I think. What is the budget with the independent? You're going to see similar budgets, Mark, with the independent that you would a franchise. They're still going to be spending between $250 and $400 a car. Are you talking about the course? I'm not sure which course. I have two courses. So I have direct mail, mastering direct mail, and also have automotive industry exposed. So we're actually considering and talking about merging them. But we'll see what happens. I don't want to talk about things and then everybody holds me so accountable on it. I don't want to, that's not 100% yet. Where do I get the other products for auto? Just send me a private message. I'll send you out a link for you if you want it or need it. Fran Kennedy, what is my Rep Guardian? It's a product that I promoted of Ryan Reeds, who's a good friend of mine. I actually met him this weekend, him and his girlfriend Ashley. It's a lot like Review Century, but it's a one-time lifetime product. It's not a monthly, and it's way slicker. I mean, it does everything that Review Century was promised and told and supposed to do, and the support's better. He don't talk to you like a dog. He talks to you like a human, which is my beef with Russ Hayes personally. But all right, so any questions? Always feel free to call out or send me a private message. I'm not a jerk or a butt, but oh, hold on. I see stuff about Rep Kahuna, and I hung out with Sprague all weekend. What is the main difference you see between Reputation Kahuna and my Rep Guardian? Completely different animals, and it would be a whole nother call to talk about it. It would, yeah. Brian just did my Rep Kahuna. You know what? I might actually offer Rep Kahuna. David was asking me to do that this weekend or over the weekend. It's different. It's just, you know, it's completely different, you know, and I want you to have what you're most comfortable with. I'm not going to say that one's better than the other. They're just completely different animals. I don't know. Any of you that have been with direct mail, yeah, it's Ryan's course, Fran. Any of you that have been on one of David Sprague's calls or ever met David Sprague, he's a smart dude. I like him. I like to surround myself with sharp kids, and he's definitely one of those. So, all right. Well, if you want more info on the trainings or the automotive products, just PM me, man. Give me a private message on Facebook, and I'll get anything in front of you. I'm not a guy that's afraid to talk or even, you know, respond back. I'm not one of those marketers that try and hide from anybody. Okay, so. Yeah, my Rep Guardian is $497. It's $4.97 one-time fee, lifetime unlimited portals. And TV says, good guy, great product. Both of those guys are good guys, great products, depending on who you're dealing with. Jeffrey was saying he has both, and they are, and you are right, they attract rep management, or attack rep management differently. They do. They're very different. I'll tell you what I'll do, and I know this ain't, we've got like 40 people on here. There's not tons of people on here that are, but so I'll release like emails and tell everybody. But I'll get, let's do David Sprague. I'll get him to do a call with us just so we can all see the difference between the two. And if you want to buy it, you can buy it, and if you don't, it doesn't matter. It's cool with me. It'll be nice for us to hear David show his stuff, because he's pretty savvy guy, if everybody's cool with that. So I'll set him up in the next few weeks. If you have anything, you need any questions, if you have any questions, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Get in your group, whether you're in the Facebook Mastermind, Mastering Direct Mail, or the Automotive, or both. Ask the question. I know the guys in the auto course aren't afraid to ask. It's a very fast-acting, proactive group. And it's, you never know. The question you're wondering is probably the question a lot of other people are wondering too. So when you ask it, everybody's like, man, I've been wanting to know that. Thank you, And the cool thing is now you don't even hear it from me. You get to hear it also from like John Casario or TV, or you get to hear everybody's their versions of what they've experienced. And sometimes my responses aren't the best responses. My responses are only just in my experience. So sometimes you can get a vast array of different responses and then make your own decision and do the best thing for you. And that's what's important in this whole game of life. All right. So, all right, I'm going to let everybody go. 1 hour webinar. It's quick, simple, easy. I know everybody in Canada had a holiday, so I hope, or I'm sure most of you Canadians are not on this call today. But I'll put up a replay, so if you were barbecuing and seeing your family and hugging your mama, like I'm going to do tomorrow, make sure that make sure you watch the replay, or are welcome to the replay when you get back on here. All right, thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you. Good.